Alright, guys. Alright. We're back. Back for the week, making videos. There's no videos over the weekend. I just wanted to take a bit of a break, just relax, play games, just chill. There's a lot of stress in our lives at the moment with this whole COVID mandates and stuff like that. So, obviously, guys, there was a protest over the weekend. And to say that some people turned up would be an understatement. Now, the news is saying there's around 10,000. But I have seen counts as high as 60 to 100,000 people. But we'll get to that in a sec. So, in a bid to keep the virus pandemic at bay, Australia's government opposed a draconian lockdown and vaccine mandate on its citizens. The harsh measures are becoming an unsustainable way for politicians to govern the country, as an increasing discontent among the Australians is seen as they take the streets in Melbourne. Victoria Police did not reveal the crowd size, but judging by pictures in the video on social media, tens of thousands of demonstrators lined the streets of Melbourne's CBD, or Central Business District, Saturday to peacefully protest the Victorian government's new proposed vaccine mandate measures. According to the Epoch Times, the proposed COVID law will give the Premier, Daniel Andrews, or Dictator Dan, unprecedented power to declare the pandemic and impose lockdowns. He would then be able to allow himself a dictated emergency powers for up to 3 months. There was no cap on how long these emergency powers could be extended. In a liberal democracy, Australians have seen this type of control in their lifetime and are outraged. Today, the crowd chant "Kill the Bill" and "Sack Dan Andrews" as they brought parts of the CBD to screeching halt by blocking roads and public transportation. Long lines of demonstrators stretch from the Victorian State Library to the Parliament House. So, we do have photos of it, and we will show you these in a sec. Right. So, thousands of Australian protest crab for power pandemic bill. So, there are, so obviously they're going through, just talking about it. And they're not really showing you photos of the crowd or anything like that. Not a lot. But this is the crowd. So you guys let me know what you think in the description below. Do you think this is tens of thousands? As in like 10, 20, 30,000? Or do you think it's closer to 60, 70, 80, 90 or 100,000? You let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. So we'll play a whole bunch of these videos for you. Holy eardrums. So it's not really showing much there. I don't know. Seems like there might be more than 10,000. So it goes all the way up to there. And also, if you go back to here, you can see it's also all the way up there as well. I don't know, media, Australian media. Seems like there's a little bit more than 10,000 people here. What do you guys think? There's another video here. So, there's that. And then there's obviously this petition to kill the bill. It's had 100,000 signatures at ready. Oof. And here's obviously... Rebel Media. Obviously, Avi Yemeni is here talking about it, so let's listen to what he has to say.
Avi Yemeni here for Rebel News in Melbourne, Australia. Behind me, tens of thousands have gathered, calling for the government to kill the controversial bill. Full story coming exclusively to Rebel News. And if you haven't done so already, head over to killthebill.com.au. Sign and share the petition. Already 85,000 people almost signed. We're getting to 100,000 with your help.
They got to 100,000 easy.
Killthebill.com.au and watch this space.
So as you can see, it's not exactly popular. This new draconian measures. Like, I don't know, you're getting this sort of crowd to turn up. Like, Now, obviously, like I say, most of the media is been very weird when covering it. Sky News actually did a good thing about it. Now, let's listen to what Sky News has had to say.
Respect back. Honestly, after the humiliation of going from the world's most livable city to the world's most locked down, it was though ordinary citizens said enough, not in my name, and refused to allow an Andrews government dictatorship to trump democracy. Now, yes, there was one person in the crowd carrying a noose, a gallows, something that should have no place in any gathering. And that idiot just allowed the usual leftist propaganda merchants like Mike Carlton, 900 kilometres away in Sydney, to tag all of Saturday's protesters as ratbags. And that's what some in the media have been doing for months, picking out the worst of the protesters and claiming that they're all like that, to try and diminish the legitimacy of their cause. It's a basic political tactic, doesn't get past me. I want you to see it for what it is as well. But it wasn't just everyday Victorians speaking out against these draconian new powers. They've been backed in by 60 Victorian QCs, led by the former Supreme Court judge and current Judge Advocate General of the Armed Forces, Jack Rush QC, and others, who have signed an open letter stating their deep concern about a bill that would, quote, allow the Victorian government effectively to rule the state by decree for the foreseeable future without proper parliamentary oversight or the usual checks and balances on executive power. The 60 QCs say that the ministry is, quote, effectively given plenary legislative power to detain people, to restrict movement, to regulate gatherings, to require information, and that these orders can be targeted based on, quote, political belief or activity. Hence the QC's worry that the new powers could end up targeting people, quote again, questioning or opposing government public health measures. This isn't criticism from political opponents. This is criticism from the most senior legal minds in the state. So it's serious. It matters. And it's bigger than just Victoria. Every Australian is right to be concerned too, because these laws don't belong anywhere in our country. Tomorrow the legislation will be introduced into the Victorian Upper House, having already passed the Lower House. Government insiders say they'll expect the bill to go to a vote on Thursday, with some MPs I've spoken to fully anticipating that the government will gag debate to ram them through. If this was happening in Canberra, there would be no vote on any bill the same week it gets introduced into the Upper House. If this were the Senate, there would be a lengthy committee inquiry with all the parties represented around the table, citizens and experts able to make submissions about the merits or otherwise of the legislation. Not so in the People's Republic of Victoria, where the Premier wants it forced through without delay before too many of you understand what it is really all about. With the opposition against this legislation, it all comes down to the votes of three crossbenchers. I don't say this lightly, these laws are the worst I've ever seen. Victoria's Bar Council President calls them Stasi-like. If you care about where our country is headed, please, I encourage you to join the QCs, Victoria's Equal Opportunity and Human Rights Commissioner, hundreds of business leaders out today, and the thousands of your fellow Australians who marched on Saturday to speak up before it is too late. Because this is not the democracy we've known and as Victorians still deserve.
So, obviously at the end of the day, Sky News, I commend them for doing the report. I can't imagine the establishment is happy, but who gives a shit? Look, at the end of the day, obviously, guys, I will put, obviously, this link in the description below. So, for any Australians, you can go through and actually sign it. But, yeah, like, it is terrifying. It is terrifying for Victorians. It's terrifying because at the end of the day, this is giving the government a literal total control. They have totally control over when they call emergency powers, how long for how many times they can reenact them. So it's supposedly limited to 3 months. Okay, but you just keep calling it for every 3 months, right? Like what they did with the lockdowns in Melbourne already. And this is absolutely ridiculous. And this is the same sort of laws that we saw, some certain German going through and bringing in when he came into power. No surprise, it's just left us bringing it in. But here, look, at the end of the day, Scott Morrison, our Premier, our Prime Minister, lame duck Prime Minister, he is not the innocent here, right? At the end of the day, you think that he would be able to reel Melbourne in and tell Dan Andrews to knock it off, but he's been quiet on the subject. So, at the end of the day, guys, this is not a left or right thing. This is both sides of the political spectrum wanting to bring in these powers. And this is why I've refused to vote Labor or Liberal or Greens or Nationals. I'm just going to vote independent. I'm just going to keep voting independent. And at the end of the day, I encourage other people to do so. And maybe if the independents can get enough power, we can wheel back some of this. But look, to be honest, I'm already looking up property in the US. I've spent the weekend doing it. The prospect of me having to leave my home country because it's turning into a Nazi gulag is ridiculous. But I don't see any option. And if things don't change around here, Texas baby, here, Florida baby, here I come. I'm going to have to move. I can't live in this place. I won't live in a place where at the end of the day you have no checks or balances against the freaking Premier of Victoria. And, people are going to say, oh, it's only Victoria. No, wake up to yourself. It's not just going to be Victoria, right? It's going to be other states. Victoria is literally just the starting ground. It's the first place they bring it in. It's like the frog in the boiling pot, right? At the moment, Victoria, you're on 5. The water's getting a little warm. But once this bill comes in, we're up to 6. We're up to 6 on the New World Order. We've only got 3 more to go. And the other 3 more levels on that boiling water, they're the other states. New South Wales, Queensland, Northern Territory, Victoria. Victoria's already doing it. But WA, Tasmania, they're all going to bring this in. Like up in Queensland last week we reported that if you're not vaccinated now, you apparently can't go to hospital unless you're dying. As of the 18th of December. They're literally refusing medical treatment unless it's an emergency, unless you're vaccinated. Gotta be joking me, right? Absolute joke. Yeah. Welcome to my country. I was born here. Do you know how bad a country has to get before you feel like you should run away from it, that where you were born? This is not some, Donald Trump won the election, I'm leaving sort of thing. No, this is literally my state or my country turning into turning into Nazi, turning into gulags and building COVID camps. Why are we building COVID camps? We supposedly have the vaccine, right? Why are we building COVID camps? Oh, right. Because you don't expect COVID to go anywhere, regardless of the fact that you're jabbing everybody with the vaccine. But wait, hang on. We'll change the definition of a vaccine so that way it fits. Like, it's just like people wake up. If they're building COVID camps, guess what? COVID is still going to be a thing in 6 or 12 months. The vaccine obviously ain't going to do anything. The government is not going to spend millions of dollars building these camps if, guess what? COVID aren't going to be around, right? Obviously the government is pretty sure COVID is still going to be a thing in 6 or 12 months. And possibly longer. Because guess what? When the camps open, they got to get their money's worth. I imagine the government is expecting COVID to be around for a few more years at least. And if that's the case, vaccinations don't seem to be doing anything. Because if everybody was vaccinated, and guess what? If COVID died out, they wouldn't need the camps. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. I'm going to sign up to this. I'm going to sign the bill. But I find petitions a lot of posturing. Guess what wins? Guess what really matters? Voting the bastards out. So, as I say, I'm going to vote independent. I'm not telling you who to vote for. Vote for whoever you like. But, yeah. Anybody know a good warehouse that you can buy in Florida that can convert to a house? I want to buy a warehouse and convert it to a house. I've seen some really amazing photos of that. Might do a stream on that. Might do a live stream on that one day. What do you guys reckon? We'll just look at like warehouses that be converted to homes. Apart from that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously, this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, to my fellow Australians, keep fighting. Don't get discouraged. And hopefully we can save this. Hopefully. But, yeah. We'll see. Have a great night and enjoy.